Do this.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different instead of trees. Maybe how did these tomatoes do throughout the summer season now that it's starting to get nice outside? Maybe some bamboo and some other things. So to remember this guy, this is that tomato. I had this in this cage and it got hot outside, and this is what things kind of look like after it got hot out. What I ended up doing though, I didn't realize is that my idea was that I was going to put some dragon fruit or something else in here, but to my surprise, moved it to a different area, and apparently it seeded and it grew on its own. Didn't do anything to it. So it goes to show you can just plant stuff, and when it's ready, it'll grow. You don't have to sit up here and wait. It'll germinate when it's ready to germinate in the temperature that is ready to germinate in. And tomatoes and peppers are really, really easy to propagate from the actual fruit itself. There's not much you have to do to them.
Let's grow.
Haven't really done a follow-up on these guys. These were planted from those Star Nursery crops. The 100. I don't know why this isn't growing that much. It's getting tomatoes before it's growing. Generally, to me, that means it's the type of fertilizer that it has in there. But I mean, I haven't changed much this season, except if you remember, I had that issue with my citrus. I did not put on that mulch from the store, the yellow bag mulch. I forget the name of it, but generally I buy that store-bought stuff instead of adding. I mostly try to do things organic this year, do things a little bit different. I wouldn't say there's an issue, but I am seeing some differences. Sunflower. Now this is still in springtime. This isn't full summer yet. I'm going to do this a little bit over the seasons and see how things turn out. Tomatoes do generally well, but this area over here is a higher sun area, so I want to see how much it can handle. I don't know if you've heard of Gilcrease Orchard, but it's one of the only orchards in Vegas, and they do tomatoes. I'm kind of thinking about just letting them do that and getting from them, and me just more or less working on fruit trees. When it comes to vegetables are a different beast, and you have to know when to do things, and you got to be on top of things, and there's specifications, everything. Trees, you kind of just put them there, and there's things you have to do to them, but they're not as picky to me as vegetables are. This is where things are starting to get hot outside. We're starting to get vegetation. Things are growing. Things are starting to shoot up. This is the area where my tropicals are, so it is getting a lot of shade, or a decent amount of shade, but it's doing pretty well. So morning sun, afternoon heat for this one anyway, and our afternoon shade, morning sun, and it's appreciating that. Honest tomatoes, you can't really go wrong in a way. Like they just grow. And what I've seen generally is that they can handle the heat, but maybe not so much the rays. I just think that this is crazy that this came from maybe a tomato or two that was just in there that fell off from the crop from last season and just came back. For this climate anyway. I mean, I'm sure that other climates this probably happens all the time, but for here, I would have thought it died, whether it's from the cold of the winter or the heat of the summer. Anybody else's dog's broken? Like, look at this fool. Look at him. You alive? You alive? Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. And this, looking for shadows. Pretty, she's so pretty, but she's broken. He's broken. Like, oh, now nope. Broken. Dogs for sale. We'll trade for trees. It's even worse when it's in a hallway and they just lay in front of you, like you're just bothering them. Like, move. All right, summer officially hits, and all of a sudden you have fruit.
Let's grow.
In July, and I upped the watering on this, and it is handling it really well. I mean, the sun, this is on a eastern facing wall, so the sun rises from this side and sets behind me, so it gets more sun than you would think.
One of these mornings, let's grow.
We're in July, like mid-July or so. I did add some kaolin clay to it. I was trying to not shade it, but things do get crispy, so even no matter how much water I'm giving. But the thing is, so I'm giving a lot of water, and this is the counter effect. Like the tomatoes some of them get kind of brown at the bottom, some of them, and then some of them split. It's a hard balance to get down a little in a way. I mean, I could have just shaded them and that been that, but I like to experiment. But crispy leaves, some good fruit, some not. I mean, overall, you can still eat these, just maybe cut around these black bits. Like this is a sign, generally, of watering issues. I just overwatered. Ending July here, and of course we're crispy, but we are still getting fruit, and it's kind of like a consistent fruit. Like, so for me and my family, honestly, for the salads and things, this is more than enough tomatoes. You got to figure I put maybe, well, I can't qualify the water exactly, but when it comes to the seeding, buying one tomato that actually is from last season, so I didn't even spend any money on this really. The fertilizer I do already have, so I guess you got to count that in effect, but this is just one harvest off of one day. I can make a salad and be fine with this. Let's talk about this bamboo. This is golden bamboo. Look how lush it's doing. My idea, I don't remember this. I haven't really talked about this much since I've done it, but I made, those little containers you get from like Sam's Club or whatnot. I got this plant from Fast Growing Trees. It's called the golden bamboo. I'm going to show you another one that I bought locally from Star Nursery, the differences, but this is in like full sun. I mean, all day, full sun in this black container, and it is doing fantastically. I can't express it enough. And I think if this was in ground, it'd be doing a lot better as far as height and everything. But this is manageable. I can move this around. And this was one of the ones I got actually locally from Star Nursery. There's two different ones I got. What is this one called? It's like house or door, building, something like that. This is it's doing well. This is also in full sun. It's right against the wall. I'm gonna feel sorry for my neighbors. I'm gonna have to go talk to them about picking up stuff for them. But this is doing great, and this is exactly what I want. I want to be able to block that wind from this side. The wind is what's gonna kill your stuff in Vegas. Alright, this is what I was talking about. This is that other bamboo. This is the one I also got from Star Nursery. It's called golden bamboo. The other one's a clumping. This one is a runner. Ladybugs are still out here. Like, they just love it here. If you have a home, they'll stay if they have what they need. And all my bugs, they pretty much have food, water, all the sorts. I try to keep everything here. I'm just everyone said that all of these would fly off. Like, that just goes to show you, do what you're gonna do. Don't get distracted by other people and distressed. Social media. Anyway, so yeah, here we go. This looks dead mostly, right? Like, I don't know if it's gonna make it. I've learned from just taking things out. It sucks because everything happens per year, so it's not like I can see recovery right away or know right away. But to me, this is also in full sun, and this one is not having it. Alright, so I'm back out here a couple days later to see if there's any difference, and it's kind of crispy. It's pretty crispy. It's getting full sun just like the other ones. I don't know. Soil's the same. I'm not doing anything different with this one than I am the others. In fact, I've upped the watering, and it still looks, some parts of it are still looking alive, but I don't know. I know these things, I believe these things have like a rhizome, so theoretically it might be alive down there. But I got wine bottles on this, giving it extra water. It's definitely a sign of the heat, but I need this to be able to handle in full sun. That's the whole point of me having this bamboo, is to block the sun. And I see new growth and everything, but it's looks like it's dead new growth. I don't know. I'm gonna have to leave this till next year. We're at the end of July, and we'll see. Passion fruit and watermelon. If you want something that does great in the sun, this full sun, they climb. The space is great. If you're low on space, look at that. You can see these forming at the top. Just be able to pick them like grapes. You're gonna fall through, and I'll be able to just pick these guys. That's in the passion fruit, full sun. I was a little bit worried. I've heard various things on these if they can handle the heat or not, but it's doing fine. And by next year, I don't know what's gonna happen in the fall, but I would assume by next year at the latest, I'm gonna have fruit on this. Watermelon's fast. This thing took over as well. It's gonna suck having to clean this up based on this trellis. I don't want to cut any of my trellis, but passion fruit, man, I can't. And this stuff's so expensive, but yet it grows like a weed. I don't know. At $3 plus per fruit, like, I don't know why this is so expensive when you can just do it yourself. I don't know, guys. I love this hobby. It just rejuvenates me. This is my happy place. This is where I go to relax. Anyway, leave me a comment below. Let's talk about a discussion. I'd rather hear some stories from other people instead of just being about me. But let's grow.